from Route 8 down to like where the automobile stores are. I don't want to mention Carbone because I don't know if he's a paid advertiser.
Right.
So I wouldn't want to give free advertising.
I'm glad you didn't do that.
But at any rate, there was already an accident this morning. And I know the speed limit's 55. But when it's 55, that may be August at 1 in the afternoon. That's not.
Yeah, when it's nasty, it's tough to.
You got to slow down.
Yeah. Okay, Father. So let's talk a little about the. I've heard, and I haven't completely confirmed this yet. Do you want to grab Tom? Because I know he wanted to pipe in on this. Well, I have heard that this year's St. Patrick's Day Parade is going to be on the same day as New York City's.
I haven't heard that. I don't know.
Which would mean we wouldn't get any of those New York City bagpipes or any of that stuff.
Yeah,
I wonder if that's true
that may be. I've been keeping up on the Irish Festival, but I have not received any news regarding the parade itself.
Here's Tom. Tom, is that true? The parade's going to be on the same day as New York?
That is the information that I have gotten from several sources, and as you said, the pipe bands will go to New York instead of here. In previous years, when St. Patrick's Day actually fell on Saturday, we would hold our parade the Saturday before, and Syracuse would do the same thing.
When is the Syracuse parade this year?
I haven't heard.
I live there, and I haven't heard.
Yeah.
Yeah. Usually,
well, it's early.
What happens is the Utica parade is 10 o'clock, the Syracuse parade is 12 o'clock, the pipe bands come to Utica, march in the Utica parade, get on the thruway, go to Syracuse, and then march in that parade.
Yes.
That's cutting it tight.
Which works out well for everyone.
Sure.
But the idea of, for some reason, moving the Utica parade to the same day as New York City, I don't understand it. Of course, I'm not involved in any of this decision-making process,
right.
So I only get it after the decision is made.
Well, the good news is we're talking about St. Patrick's Day and
springtime.
That's springtime.
That's last year it was canceled.
Yeah, because of weather.
Well, I think it was post. It wasn't.
It snowed. When I was a Grand Marshal, it was snowing. That was back in the late 90s. I think we should find out.
Were you the Grand Marshal the year of the blizzard?
Was it 1998 or 1999? It was right around there.
Yeah,
I had just moved out of Utica to Forestport.
Yeah.
And I came back. I drove the Model T down, snowing. Holy cow. And
I guess that probably wasn't then. The blizzard was before that, 93,
right.
92.
Yeah, I believe it was. That was the year that Dolly Parton watched the parade from her bus parked next to the Radisson Hotel.
It was the Sheraton at the time. You're absolutely right. So, Tom, what's your other issue here you wanted to talk to Father Sean about?
Well, I understand. Maybe they haven't informed you yet, Father, but you're going to get a Sunday morning off in July. The Irish Festival this year is only going to be Friday and Saturday. There's no Sunday. So
that's right. I got an email that we can see. Now, the parade, we don't know yet. Yeah. Somebody's heard, but we don't know.
Right. Okay.
All right. But with the festival, we do know. I got an email, and I responded regarding my concerns. That Friday night and Saturday was the Irish Festival.
So there's no Sunday this year?
And that on Sunday they were not going to have the Mass, which is sad because that's over 1,500, between 1,500 and 1,800 people probably who come there. A collection is taken. I mean, it becomes a social justice issue when you tie prayer with social action. The money
where does
from
the money go?
The money from the collection at that Mass was distributed to local food pantries.
Okay.
To help them feed the poor. That's all been taken away. The Mass, religion is as much a part of our culture, like we talked earlier with the Italians, with the Polish, with the. There are certain cultures that to go after one is to go after the other. They're so intimately connected.
Yeah.
And, I support the purpose for the Irish Festival to promote Irish culture, music, food, dancing, and so on. And I'll still go. I'll still go because I support the bigger issue.
Yeah.
But I have written an email protesting, stating that it's not a good idea, that I hope the committee strongly consider changing that. I think they're going to lose money. There's a lot of people who come down
Sunday
there.
was always a big day, I thought, for the Irish
And Sunday
Fest.
was a free day. I mean, by
Yeah.
Sunday, everything was paid for. So
Right.
anything you got Sunday, it was a gimme.
Yeah.
And people come in from out of town. They have these big rigs, their campers, their RVs,
Mm-hmm.
whatever. And nobody's going to come down for one day.
Right.
You know, they're going to come down for a weekend.
Right. Right.
So I'm not on the committee. I'm not privy to their reasoning. I'd like to trust the committee that they know what's best. That doesn't mean I don't have questions, and I think they're honest and valid questions, and
Yeah,
I'm not the
all
only
right.
one.
Can I ask, you might not know, but let me ask, you talk about people who come from out of town with RVs and such. Would they be allowed to stay on the campus, the property, like they do now, Saturday into Sunday? If the thing ends Saturday, I'm wondering.
Yeah, then they would leave Sunday morning.
Well, they would still be.
I would imagine
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
a campgrounds issue that
Right,
Fairgrounds
right.
and Herkimer County would
Yeah.
handle. That's
I would assume they would allow you to at least stay, but
right.
You would, I guess, in that case, you would get that was why I asked.
Yeah.
You would get a weekend stay out of it.
Sure.
You would just leave Sunday morning instead of Sunday.
But
night.
you lose that
you
whole
lose- yeah, I
Sunday
agree.
portion
I
of,
agree.
Right.
which was always nice. I hate to say because it's traditional. The Lord sends His wrath in the
Yeah.
by way of thunderstorm on Saturday night.
Oh, yeah.
and then Sunday it clears up, and it's always a
It
beautiful
would always
day.
rain. And Sunday is a great family day. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
for those who are Catholic, they could come to Mass, then they could get a bite to eat. You know, the Celtic Harp and other places
Yeah,
had
yeah.
their little roach coaches there. And so you got a bite to eat.
I'm sure they love it being called that.
Well, it's
yeah.
a military term.
Yeah. Okay.
And the chuck wagon, let's call it
Chuck
that.
wagon,
Yeah, although that's
okay.
considered dog food, right? Chuck wagon.
is
so
true,
we don't
yeah.
either.
Remember those
Anyway,
old
they had food
commercials?
available. Let's just say
Yeah.
that.
Got it. All right.
And-
Anything, Tom, you want to add to this?
Like you have brought up the thing, like one thing I thought of, all of the merchants who are usually there for 3 days,
Now we're there for
they
two.
make money. Well, they will not make any money on Sunday, and I'm wondering how many of the merchants will come just for Friday night and Saturday
Yeah,
instead of
yeah.
the 3 days. It's like I said, I'm not involved in any of the decision making, and I was quite surprised. I first heard it, mouth to mouth, talking to people. I said, that can't be true. And then
Yeah,
I got
yeah.
actual emails, telling me the things that I am involved in, we will not be doing Sunday.
And
Well, and some
what's the
vendors
reason?
some vendors may not come at all because
Right.
of the lack of a third.
Well, and
day.
let's not just look at
Well, but
vendors.
why would they kiss
let's-
away money on those first 2 days?
Let's also look at the bands.
Right.
You get the High Kings, for example, or some other big name band. They're not going to come in for one day.
Right. Right.
Yeah, like that's something else somebody who's involved with hiring music told me. The biggest expense for the bands is travel.
Right.
Now, whether they come and stay for 1 day or 3 days, their travel expense is the same.
You're gonna be the same.
So
Okay.
usually they
All right.
charge less for the second day and third day than for 1 day.
Okay. All right, Tom. Thanks. I appreciate it.
Is there a
and,
reason?
And for were
were
you
given
know
a reason,
the reason, Tom?
No.
You
I
haven't
was-
heard of a
My
reason?
assumption would be they weren't making money on Sundays. They felt like
Yeah,
it
Yeah,
was
in
I
the
was-
email I
I've been
received,
asked
there was just
questions.
information. There was no real explanation.
no reason as to
Yeah.
why.
Yeah,
All
I've been asking questions and not getting answers.
Right.
But like I say, I'm not involved in committee or
Got it.
board of directors or anything, so I get the information
Okay.
afterwards like most other people.
All right, Tom, thank you. I appreciate your
and
time
I,
there.
and I would like to say to the listeners, even though for some it may be disappointing to hear that it's not on Sunday, personally, I still support the Irish Festival.
Yeah.
I think that the higher cause, the purpose for the Irish Festival and promoting Irish culture, is greater than the individual issues they're going through right now. I will be there. I won't be saying mass, so I'll be there as a pure customer and not as someone who's volunteering to help that be all it can be.
Yeah. How about the cultural center is really moving along quickly now?
And that's good. Yeah,
That's gonna be a
that's
positive.
good.
Get that
And I
open.
think some of the funding comes from the Irish Festival.
Right. Leonard is on for Father Sean. Leonard, you're on the radio. Good morning.
Good morning, Father Sean.
Hey, Len,
How you doing?
jumping for joy.
Oh, it's the way it always should be. Yeah. Well, whenever I see you on Keeler, and I mean see you, I never pass up an opportunity to say hello.
I'm glad you did.
All right, Leonard, where are you in Floyd?
Yeah, I live in Floyd,
Got it.
and
Okay.
again, I want to reiterate that it was an honor to serve in the U.S. Navy with Father Sean.
Yeah.
All right. Very nice.
You meet some great people, don't
Leonard,
you?
we thank you for your service and thank you for the call this morning.
Okay, take
All
care.
right, sir. Thanks.
Yeah.
Wayne in Ilion with a question for Father Sean. Hello, Wayne.
Hey, guys. Father Sean, quick question, because I know everybody, well, for the most part, is connected. Father Abe up in Chadwick's, is he doing all right?
Is that Abe Esper?
Yes.
Yeah, I believe he retired.
Okay.
Yeah, but is he all right? I mean, health-wise, is he all right?
As far as I know.
Yeah.
Okay.
He and I served together
No.
when I first got ordained. He was
really?
at Lourdes and introduced me to the whole Lebanese community and their culture and their cooking. Holy cow. Can
Great
they really
food.
cook?
I know what that's like.
Yeah, and he,
Hey, can
as
I
far
ask
as I
you
know, he's
something
doing fine.
Okay, can I ask you something else? With the churches, I used to go to St. Francis when I was younger. Then I went to, because they closed, I went to St. Mary's, and then I went to the one on James Street. I don't even remember the name of the church, but I kind of like hopped around because they kept closing every one I went to.
Yeah,
And I didn't know
don't
if it
come
was
to mine,
me.
all right, bud?
I didn't know if it was me or what it was, but I started going to the one in Chadwick's with Father Abe. They switched out a guy, I don't remember his name, but he went to go work over in New York Mills, a young priest, and they put Father Abe where I was, and then they turned around and they did something to the days because I showed up one Sunday and they were closed, and I didn't know what was going on. I wonder if you knew what was going on.
I have no idea. I'm out in East Syracuse. I don't know what they decided there in Chadwick's. I know in East Syracuse, for example, we socialized for about 2 or 3 months first before we changed our daily Mass schedule so that we could work in cooperation with Blessed Sacrament down the road. Instead of having Mass at the same time, 8 o'clock, 8 o'clock. You know, we alternate. We have an early Mass, they have a late Mass, and so on. So I'm guessing they probably did something like that. But, yeah, I don't know.
Something
I
that's
found
happening.
it so hard that I ended up, I stopped going, and the reason why I started going was because literally, I wasn't like saved by God or anything, but my life got better when I started going to the church because of what was going on in my life. But anyway,
Oh, going to church never hurt anybody.
Yeah.
right?
Go to
And
church or
and I
synagogue.
did
It won't
occupy
hurt
my
you.
time in a positive way.
Yeah.
All right, Wayne. Thanks, man.
Have a
Wayne,
nice day, Wayne. Happy New Year.
Wayne down in Ilion.
We talked about serving in the Navy together.
Yeah.
Now they've moved me, by the way. I'm working with the Military Sea Lift Command. So I work with the guys who supply ships at sea.
Okay.
A lot of civilian
I think
mariners.
we might have talked about this. It's a whole different element of the service that people don't really understand.
No, it's like the old World War II merchant
Yeah.
marine, you know, moving supplies back and forth and resupplying ships while
Right.
they're underway.
Yeah.
And if any of your listeners are interested, you can simply get on YouTube and type in underway.
Yep.
Right, underway replenishment, and you can watch videos of the military and civilian mariners working together to resupply ships at sea. Phenomenal group of
Well,
people.
when you would think about this, they are floating cities, right?
Oh yeah,
With thousands of people on board.
an aircraft carrier. The only thing they don't have is the casino.
Right.
I mean,
They don't have a casino, yeah.
there's still gambling going on the mess decks,
I'll bet
but
there is,
yeah.
But without, you don't think about how do you get supplies?
Everything.
Because a lot of times you're out to sea and that's where you're staying, unlike the cruise ships that are coming into dock every 7 days.
That's right. So everything from toilet paper, I mean, just the basic stuff, you know, Band-Aids.
Right.
Yeah.
We'll talk more with Father Sean. If you have any questions, Father is here this morning.
5,000 people on an aircraft carrier. That's a lot of toilet paper.
That's a lot of toilet paper. Yeah, it is. And then what do you do with it after?
Oh, the military and the Navy has a great environmental program.
I didn't
where
know
the
that.
trash is compacted into small discs.
Okay.
It ends up about the size of a hockey puck.
Really?
You know, so many pounds they
Yep.
can
Yep.
compress with this machine, and then it's collected and taken care of. The military really is much better at recycling than many people just on the street.
Wow, that's big.
Yep.
We'll break. We'll come back. Any questions of Father Sean? 315-736-0186.